Welcome to the event horizon. A night at the Black Hole Café. You've seen the signs. We all have. They flicker on lonely stretches of highway that seem to have no beginning and no end. Neon beacons in the consuming emptiness. They promise hot coffee, all-day breakfast, and a slice of Americana so pure it hurts. Most are forgettable. But one is different. It's not on any official map. You find it when your gas gauge is kissing the beam. The static on the radio has become a more constant companion than any human voice. When the night is so deep and black, it feels like a physical substance pressing against your windshield. That's when you see it. A spiral of pink and chrome neon, twisting in on itself like a dying galaxy. The script, bold and optimistic, reads, "The Black Hole Café, where every meal is an eternity, TM. I am a collector of roadside oddities, a connoisseur of the forgotten and the strange. My journey to the Black Hole Café was not an accident. It was a pilgrimage. The rumors were a ghost in the machine of the internet, whispers on dark web forums, and scribbled notes in the margins of second-hand paperbacks. They spoke of a diner that defied physics, a place where the coffee never got cold, and the pie was always fresh. They also spoke of the disappearances. I went in seeking a story. I left with a scream trapped in my throat, a story that is eating me from the inside out. This is not just an article. It is a warning, a testament, a suicide note written in ketchup and existential dread. Part 1. The gravity of the situation. The first thing you notice is the pull. It's not a physical force, not at first. It's a psychological tug, a deep-seated, almost nostalgic yearning. The diner is a perfect specimen of 1950s architecture, a relic that should be gathering dust in a museum. Its chrome finish gleamed under the lonely highway lights, reflecting a sky with too few stars. The large plate glass windows were checkered with retro decals of smiling, frothy milkshakes, and impossibly juicy burgers. A giant, stylized rocket ship, a holdover from the atomic age, served as the main entrance. Its nose cone pointed defiantly at the empty heavens. But something was wrong. The lines of the building weren't quite straight. The checkerboard pattern on the floor, visible through the windows, seemed to curve ever so slightly, as if drawn on the surface of a giant, slow-moving whirlpool. The neon spiral sign wasn't just a design. It was a literal, hypnotic representation of the space it occupied. Looking at it for too long made me feel dizzy, as if I were being drawn into its center. I pushed open the heavy glass door, and a silver bell chimed a single, clear, perfect note that seemed to hang in the air far longer than it should have. The smell that hit me was a time capsule. Sizzling grease, freshly brewed coffee, sugar, and the faint, metallic tang of ozone. The interior was a masterpiece of curated nostalgia. Red vinyl booths, polished chrome trim, Formica tabletops swirled with shades of pink and gray. A long, gleaming counter ran the length of the room, lined with stools topped with crimson upholstery. A Wurlitzer jukebox in the corner glowed with a soft, internal light, its records silent for the moment. The floor was that same dizzying checkerboard, and now, standing inside, I could see it clearly. The entire diner was built in a gentle but undeniable spiral. The booths, the counter, the ceiling tiles, everything curved inward, leading the eye toward the back of the room, toward the kitchen.
To our journey
And
and
there,
the bonds we've
centered
forged,
in the wall
may our
behind the
path be lit by
counter,
fire and friendship.
was the pass-through.
To our journey
was
and
a
the bonds
circular
we've
window,
forged, may our
about
path
3
be lit by
feet in
fire and
diameter,
friendship.
through which plates of food would appear. But it wasn't just a window. It was a void, a perfect circle of absolute blackness, deeper and more complete than any black I had ever seen. It didn't look like paint or darkness, it looked like an absence. A hole in reality itself. Around its edges, the air shimmered, warping the light like heat haze on a summer road. This was the engine of the place, the miniature black hole. Take a seat anywhere, honey. Be with you in a jiff. The voice was a bubble of pure, unadulterated cheer. Its owner was a waitress who matched the Dacre perfectly. Her name tag, pinned to a pink and white uniform, read Cindy. Her hair was a perfect blonde bouffant, her smile a lipsticked crescent of relentless goodwill. But her eyes were old. They were the eyes of something that had seen the same moment replayed 10,000 times. A polished mannequin with a soul worn thin as old newspaper. I slid into a booth near the jukebox, the vinyl sighing under my weight. The menu was a single laminated sheet. The offerings were standard diner fare. The event Horizon Burger, the Singularity Sundae, the Gravitational Pull Pork Chop. The tagline was everywhere: infinite refills. On everything. Cindy appeared at my table, notepad in hand. What'll it be, sweetie? Coffee to start. Please, I managed, my voice a dry rasp. She smiled, a motion so practiced it was almost mechanical, and turned towards the counter. I watched, fascinated and unnerved, as she picked up a heavy ceramic mug and held it under a spigot attached to a complex, whirring apparatus of copper tubes and chrome spheres that was connected by a series of thick, insulated cables to the shimmering void of the pass-through. A stream of black coffee poured out, steaming. She brought it over and set it before me. Cream and sugar are on the table. You decided on food yet? I'll have the event Horizon Burger, medium and fries. Common right up, she chirped, and her pen made a tiny, precise check on her notepad. She turned and walked towards the pass-through, not the kitchen door next to it, but directly towards the black circle. My breath caught in my throat. She couldn't be. Cindy stopped before the void, placed her order ticket on the little shelf in front of it, and tapped a small button. A soft, deep thrum vibrated through the soles of my shoes, a subaudible hum that I felt more than heard. The air around the pass-through warped more intensely, and for a split second I saw it. The order ticket, the carbon paper, the very idea of the order, seemed to stretch into an infinite, thin line before being spooled into the darkness. Then silence. A moment later, with no sound, no fanfare, A plate materialized on the shelf. On it was a perfect burger, a generous pile of golden fries, a dill pickle spear. It hadn't come through the pass-through, it had appeared there, fully formed. The plate was warm. The fries were steaming. Cindy picked it up, her smile never wavering, and brought it to my table. Here you go, one event horizon. Enjoy. She bustled away to attend to another customer, an old man in a booth who was staring into his coffee cup as if reading tea leaves. I looked down at the meal. It looked perfect. It smelled incredible, the rich, greasy scent of seared beef and fried potatoes. My stomach growled, overriding my creeping unease. I picked up the burger. The bun was soft, toasted to a light gold. I took a bite. It was the best burger I had ever tasted. Juicy, flavorful, cooked to a perfect medium. The cheese was melted perfectly, the lettuce crisp, the sauce a tangy, secret recipe masterpiece. The fries were crispy on the outside, fluffy on the inside, salted just right. I devoured it, the primal pleasure of good food momentarily silencing the alarm bells in my mind. I washed it down with the coffee. It too was perfect. Rich, dark, hot. The best cup of coffee I'd ever had. And that's when the first loop began.